All right, so this is day 5 of my live streaming test. Been trying to do these live streaming tests each day. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Kwame, Denver-based photographer, videographer. If you do hear noise, like little tapping noise around here, it's my beagle. It is time for dinner for him, so he is a little he's ready to eat, I should say. So I apologize for that. Since, as I've said before in previous live videos, I don't really have a script or even anything. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do before I do these live shows. So I figured for this one, for today, I'm going to show off my iPad screen and kind of go through the apps that I use on my iPad for photography, and then the one app, actually two apps I use for doing video work. So yeah, we should go there. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is he's just pacing back and forth right now. All right, so if I can do this, there we go. This shows you my HomePad screen, and my HomePad's pretty minimalistic. I do have a second page, so this is where I keep new apps that I just haven't filed away. To be honest, I'm just lazy, so I haven't really put them away yet. But yeah, if you don't know, I have the iPad Pro 2017 edition with 512 gigabytes of storage. If I was going to get a new one, which I'm not anytime soon, but if I would get a new one, I'd probably get the terabyte storage. 500 gigabytes is a lot, and for a lot of people it's a lot, but so let's talk about video first. I do 99% of my video editing on my iPad here. So the app that I use is called LumaFusion, and this is just a great little app. I love it a bunch. So you can see the last video that I edited was done here in LumaFusion. I love this app. This is the app that I use all the time. The beagle's now over here trying to get my attention. This is the app that I use all the time for all my video editing. Like I said, all my video editing is done on the iPad. I used to use Premiere Pro. I use it a lot, but because I shoot videos like this, and even for client work, it's all talking head type of videos. I'm not that demanding. I know you'll see a lot of YouTubers who will talk about how demanding and how complex their video projects are. I'm not. I don't think there's anything wrong with not doing that. I just try to keep my video. I just keep it simple for myself, and so I use LumaFusion. Now I will tell a little story. Last year I covered an event for Children's Hospital out here in Colorado, and it was like a big project, and they were doing like a fundraiser, running up and down the stairs. But I shot everything in 4K on the main camera. That I had some other cameras that were just 1080, and I didn't have a computer that could edit 4K video, except the iPad Pro and LumaFusion. It was rough because I didn't know what I was doing at first, but I edited the whole thing, and that one was a multi-layer track, so it was a lot of video, some pictures, a lot of audio, so it was a lot, and LumaFusion handled it perfectly. It was amazing. So I've been a LumaFusion addict, you could say, since then. So yeah, this is the app that I use. Love it a lot on the iPad. I am really excited about iPad apps on on the Mac now, especially like the M1 chip, so that I think this will work on there. Again, I don't have one, so I don't know, but I think this would work on there. And yeah, the iPad apps aren't great yet, but I think they're going to be really good. So LumaFusion, if you're doing any kind of video editing, LumaFusion is the best. If you're really into it. If you're just like kind of dabbling with it, use what is it? iMovie. iMovie is great. Use iMovie, you'll be happy. But if you're doing any kind of serious video editing, LumaFusion is my go-to choice. Oops. There we go. And I'm using a Magic trackpad with my iPad here. The other video app that I use is, do I even have it on here actually? I don't think I have it on here. I had to reset my iPad a little bit ago. Yes, I don't have it on here, but it's called D-Shake. So that's an app. If your video is like wobbly or shaky, D-Shake is really amazing because it will smooth out your video for you. I've used it a handful of times. I love it. I think you got to pay for it. I can't remember. LumaFusion 2 is paid, but it's a one-time cost, unlike Adobe products where it's over and over. That's another nice thing. All right, so those are the two video apps that I use, LumaFusion and D-Shake. D-Shake I haven't used in a while, but LumaFusion I use anytime I'm editing a video for myself or for client paid work. Now for the photography apps, my number one app that I use is Lightroom because I'm a Lightroom user on the desktop. Lightroom I use on here. And the way that this has been a struggle because the iPad is so great, but the way that I use Lightroom now is everything, it gets imported to the computer first, and then I do the purge. I do all my sorting and everything through Lightroom on the desktop, and then I move the pictures that I want to edit with, or do my editing. I do that. I put that in folders on the desktop, in the Lightroom app, and then that syncs up with the iPad app, iPhone app, Android app, whatever. So that's how I do it. But I keep the same structure that I have on my desktop. So let's see if I can. I don't know how to set it. I was going to show my desktop. I don't know how to do that right now, but it's the same structure. So the way that I've just started doing this year is I break everything by month. So month and then year and then month, right? So this is 2020. And if you see like 2019, I didn't do that. So for 2019 and like even before then, I was doing everything by day. So breaking it out by the day that the pictures are taken. And it's cool and you can do that, but it just got to be too much, like trying to remember, oh, these 3 pictures are taken on this day, these 4 pictures are taken on this day. It's much easier for me just to throw them into one folder that have all the, like this from November, right? You put it all in there and you can I sort them that way. So Lightroom is my go-to app on the iPad. The next one is Affinity Photo. Now I don't use Affinity Photo as much. I use it since you have Photoshop on the iPad, which I do use, but I think Affinity Photo on the iPad is better as a Photoshop replacement for the iPad. If that makes any sense. It can do everything that Photoshop can do, but I just like it a little bit more. Now I will bring pictures into here if I need to do any kind of hardcore edit or anything like that. But if I just need to do a quick touch up, everything can be done within Lightroom and not within Affinity Photo. So then the next app that I use, I do have Photoshop. I don't use it as much. I don't even think I've used it in a while, so I don't use Photoshop much. I have it on here, but I don't use it at all. Snapseed. So Snapseed is if I need like a quick edit for something, Snapseed is amazing for that. So you can do all sorts of things in there. It's free, so that's really amazing. But you can do, uh, it's almost like Photoshop Lite. So for people who don't know how to use Photoshop or don't really need the full blown Photoshop on your iPad, Snapseed will get everything done. And it's the same with Affinity Photo, right? Affinity Photo is, you really have to learn how to use it, and you know, I'm looked at many YouTube courses, Skillshare courses on Affinity Photo, um, and I still barely know how to use it. But Snapseed is so intuitive. You can, let's see if we just bring a quick picture in. License all photos. I don't know. I don't have any recent pictures. All right. Let's say we take this picture I took of some food we ate. So of course here you have all your filters, which are cool. They're not the greatest filters, and if you're into filters, they have something probably. But if you go in here, you can see all the things you can do, right? You can do your basic tuning, your details. If you want to know, like, work with curves, you can do that. Change white balance. If you have a raw picture, so it even works with the raw pictures, you can work on those. I mean, there's so much in here. There's even like a head pose. So if you have someone who's like turn their head slightly, you can go back in there and adjust the head within this app. It's not the greatest, but in a pinch, it does work. And again, this is free. So this is an app that I absolutely love. Um, I've been using it for years. I mean, before it was free, I think Google bought them. I don't even remember how many years ago. And then they made it free, and it's been just amazing. They still get updates, so it's not an abandoned app by any means. So again, free app. I use it. I used it a lot. I haven't used it as much probably in the last 6 months, but I do use. I mean, I use it anytime I just need to make a quick edit on something. That Snapseed is usually my go-to for that. Next, VSCO. Again, another. This is so VSCO or Visco, however you want to call it. This is my favorite app if you want to get a film look, which is kind of, you're taking digital pictures and you want a film look, right? But this is a really cool app. It has amazing filters there. Unfortunately, they do have a subscription plan now, but I bought a bunch of filters from before they had a subscription plan. So yeah, I still recommend them. I think you can still buy like individual filters if you want to. Not 100% sure, but it's a good app. It's a very niche app for me now because if I want that film look, which I do, there are some days where I'm really going for that look, and if I'm working on the iPad, it's easy just to save your pictures from Lightroom, then open them into VSCO, and then bring them back into Lightroom. So yeah, I use VSCO all the time. Google Photos, as I mentioned in my podcast. If you guys don't know, my podcast, Studio Talks, um, I have it's the best. It's the best. Hey, I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry, but hey, thank you for watching the video. um, I Google Photos is the best backup service, I think, for a phone or a tablet, or especially like a phone or a tablet. However, you can also upload other pictures up there from your desktop, but it's a great way to just have a backup, and it's great. You can even have it back up pictures automatically. I don't do that for my phone or tablet, but you can use it, and it's great. It's free for right now. It is gonna they're gonna put it on a subscription plan in the, I think it's like spring or something like that next year. But right now, you can easily upload all your pictures into Google Photos, video up there, unlimited storage right now, and going forward, anything anything after what you're using, like your space you're using, that's what you have to pay for. But you know, upload all your pictures if you want. Right now, it's a great way to have a backup service. I'm just going over the apps that I use on my iPad for photography and video work. I already talked about the video work. I use LumaFusion, and every now and again this app called DShake for video. Next app is the Creative Cloud app. I have it just because it's on there. Pixelmator Photo. This is a really cool app. It's from the same people who do Pixelmator on the iPad. They have another iPad app called Pixelmator. They have the desktop version, Pixelmator. Pixelmator Photo is really cool. I haven't used this in a while. As you will see, because we're at home so much, there's a lot of things I just haven't used in a while. But Pixelmator is very cool because you can do all sorts of things in here. They even have this where is it? This machine learning, so this ML, right? And it will do, it's like auto, auto enhance and that kind of stuff, but it's, I don't want to say on steroids, but it's really good. And you can go in here, again, you can it looks like, I've heard about this. You can enlarge pictures using their ML super resolution. It's a really good app. I used to play with more apps, but the problem is like now, for me at least, there are like a handful of apps that I use, and I'm not trying as many apps because once you get into a flow and into a rhythm of what you're doing and the apps that you're using, I don't think you have to chase after apps and keep trying out new apps. Like I've seen reviews, and the ones that I like, I keep on the iPad, but I haven't used Pixelmator Photo in a long time. I wish, I should get in here and play with it. The problem is I have a workflow, and that I'm not resistant to change, but I think I'm one of those people who, once my workflow is down and it's working for me, then why change it, I guess. But Pixelmator Photo is great. It's another app though that you probably should watch some tutorials on and really learn if you're going to use it, because there's so much you can do with it. But for me, I just don't use it that much. So again, I use the apps I use the most: Lightroom, Snapseed, and Affinity Photo. Like those three apps, and VSCO. VSCO I use when I want that age look. But yeah, that's those are the apps I use. And then Procreate is an app for drawing. I've been trying to draw more and do stuff that's not photography or video related, just personal stuff. So nothing worth the sharing, I don't think. Yeah, just little drawings that I've been doing, just to try to get better, I guess. Yeah, that's what I use. Fairlight is a audio editing app. It's for podcasts. I use it whenever I'm editing the podcast version of my podcast, the audio version of my podcast. So I will run that through Fairlight. So yeah, those are the apps that I use on my iPad for in 2020. But really, to be honest, it's Lightroom, Snapseed, Affinity Photo. Those would be the ones I use the most. And like I said before, Lightroom is the hub for everything. So everything starts in Lightroom, everything ends in Lightroom. Lightroom is like the core of what I use for my pictures, and then from there, there's like spokes on a wheel. So yeah, that was my the apps that I use on my iPad in 2020. Again, I used to be, I would say I used to be more, I would try more apps and, still trying to get the workflow down. But now, once, like I said before, once you have a workflow, it's easier it's harder to change, like, and try new apps or try new things, for at least for me, than before. But now everything goes through Lightroom, and then from there I bring it over to Lightroom CC, get everything synced up, and good to go. All right, so that's 20 minutes. I didn't think I'd had to talk for 20 minutes today. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I was gonna do a video on like gifts and stuff like that you can get for creatives, but I think with everything going on this year, with the pandemic, with people, long lines at food shelters, it doesn't seem appropriate. So I'll let other people do that. Instead, I'll focus on what I like to focus on, the creative process, and at least for this live stream test, just keep testing out, see if I like it. I didn't get to play with Ecamm as much as I thought I would today, even though we didn't go anywhere. It was more busy than I thought, but yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching the video. Thank you guys for the 2 thumbs up. I appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, I will be doing this at 3 o'clock my time, so I will actually try to set a reminder on YouTube. But 3 o'clock Mountain Time, that's when I'll be doing live video. Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.